Welcome back to the 411 Podcasting Network. I am your host, Larry Csonka, and this is episode 37 of the 411 On Wrestling Podcast. You can follow our show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course the 411mania.com website. Please make sure to subscribe and share the show around, and if you have a chance, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. We thank you for all that have subscribed so far. We know it is a crowded market and there are a lot of choices, so we appreciate you taking a chance on us. And joining me today is my good friend, longtime tag team partner since back in 1974, the man that Antonio Inoki originally called the big dog of professional wrestling, Steven Jefferson Douglas Cook Jr. the Third. Steven, how are you?
Oh, hey, Larry Csonka. What's up?
Not much, brother. Just got in from a morning therapy session and, doing all the walking.
Doing all the walking. Walking in the... Now, you didn't have to walk out in the stinky, steamy heat, did you?
Not today. I have, there's other days when it hasn't been this hot They have like a little outside, not like obstacle course, but there's a place outside for you to learn to walk up like concrete ramp and stuff like that. And but no, I did not have to do that today, thankfully, because it's very hot outside.
Well, that's good, because it's just kind of ridiculous out there. I stepped outside, and the second I stepped outside, my sunglasses just steamed right the heck up. When that happens, you just know it's a bad time.
Yeah, that's no bueno, dude. I'm not down with that at all. It's Yeah, very, very much too hot, and did not want to do that. But I tell you what, dude, I think I talked about this maybe with Jeremy before, but it is like really weird right now because, like, like going on, like we went out to dinner last night and we stopped and got some breakfast this morning, so we're out and like I get like the weirdest looks from people sometimes. Like apparently people have never seen a person with one leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like last time we went to dinner and I was after a very long therapy session. I was tired, so I was in the wheelchair rolling in because I was just exhausted. And so rolling in, and I'm waiting for Christy to take Alex to the bathroom, so I'm waiting for them out by the register, and I'm sitting there, and I'm wearing when you put on the prosthetic leg, you put on this. It's called it's a gel, kind of like a gel wrap. It's a gel sleeve. It goes on and it sticks to your leg and everything, and it has a screw coming out the end. So then when you put the socket over that, you'll hear it go and lock into your prosthetic. So I'm just sitting there and I'm waiting for them to come out, and this guy comes over and he goes, "Hey man, is that for a prosthetic leg?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "How'd they get that screw in there, man?" So, of course, I'm just in the mood right now that when people ask me stupid questions or are rude about it, I'm like, well, when they knocked me out and cut the leg off, I said they basically just put some bitch in there with a hammer.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Holy shit, man." He's like, "Does it hurt?" I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm on tons of morphine. It's great.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "How'd you lose your leg, man?" I was like, well, I'm like, I don't really like talking about it. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but he's like, I just wanted to know. I'm like, well, I was on a camping trip with my friends. I said I got lost in the mountains, and a fucking bear ate it. And this dude looked mortified. And I just, I have a collection of stories now. Like I talked to, like the therapist, they were joking about, people can be like really rude about it, and they're like, yeah, like you should just have some shit like in your holster to make up. So I was like,
sure.
I have a shark attack off the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah.
I have the bear attack in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I have the old the Happy Gilmore, the Chubs, the crocodile down by the water.
That's a good one there.
Yeah, went golfing. So, yes, I got a few.
I think there's a good variation for your mountain story. I think you should. I think it should have been that you fell asleep one night while you're stuck in the mountain with your friends, and when you woke up, you found out that they had cut off and eaten your leg.
See, I could do that too. Yeah.
Well, cannibalism. I think that would freak some people out.
But yeah, I'm just to the point now that it's like, if you're gonna be like that, like there was one dude like in the middle of our dinner one night that just like interrupted our dinner, and he's like, "How'd you lose your leg?" And I'm like, "Can you not see I'm like sitting here with my family?" I'm like, "Fuck, man, like go away." So I just have like rude answers now, and that's
like the celebrity. I mean, he didn't ask your autograph or nothing.
yeah. So it's just really fucking weird. But
there were some amputees that came through the airport the other day. I guess there's a summer camp actually that they have for like child amputees, and like the counselors are like adult amputees. They've all been through it, and they go out and they do summer camp type things where, you know, there aren't people there staring at them and being like, "Oh, where'd your leg go?" or, you know, that kind of thing. And I was talking to one of them, and after they left, like one of the other workers asked me, "Well, how'd they lose their leg?" And I was like, I didn't think to ask. It just seems kind of awkward, you know. I mean, she was talking about like the summer camp and stuff, but I didn't think to go, "Yeah, so where'd your leg go?" You know.
I know, yeah. It's
what happened to you? What happened to you, bitch? What happened? Come on now.
it's just like really weird. Like I said, like the way it happens sometimes too. Like right in the middle of dinner and stuff. It's like, really, guy? I'm like, you're gonna hit me up with that right now?
Yeah,
but
people are curious, I suppose.
I guess, but anyway, that's the latest. Been going through therapy, going well, making progress. I'm getting there eventually. So,
he's gonna be able to challenge Drew Gulak here in a few weeks.
Yeah, I hope so. Just I'll have to. I'm gonna have to go back to. I'll have to go back to wearing the long tights though.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can fake him out. So when he goes for like the ankle lock, he grabs the wrong leg. Hopefully.
What you gotta do is you gotta train with Matt Riddle, because if there's one thing we know about Drew Gulak, it's that he cannot defeat Matt Riddle. That just cannot happen for him.
This is true. And
he's like what, 186 this guy?
Something like that. But yeah, so Steve Cook, we're talking about kind of a lot of subjects today. Number one, we didn't really get to dive into it on Sunday night when we did the Extreme Rules post-game show. Brock Lesnar, the new WWE Universal Champion.
Yeah.
So just first off, before we get real deep into it, just overall thoughts on Brock as champion again.
Well, it's we're back to where we started pretty much. We're back to what we've been seeing for the past few years now, where Brock Lesnar is pretty much constantly the Universal Champion, or whatever championship happens to be on Raw at the moment. He always has it whenever he randomly shows up, and then he randomly disappears for a while. So it's nothing new. This isn't a new development or anything like that. We've been here for the last few years now. And when I was researching for an upcoming column of mine, you realize he came back in like 2012. It's been 7 years of the second run of Brock Lesnar. It doesn't feel like that long, does it?
No, because he's never around.
Because he's never around, you never see him. So he doesn't stick around long enough to get old and tired. So I mean, in that perspective, it works for me. The only downside is that when he's not around, things don't matter as much, which is part of why Seth Rollins' title reign didn't work out. Also with, you have to chalk up a lot of that to Baron Corbin as well. Lack of compelling challengers, lack of any other challengers besides Baron Corbin there. What is what it is, I suppose, but we're doing this deal again where we had the match at WrestleMania. Now we're going to have the match again at SummerSlam, and we're all going to head into SummerSlam probably thinking, oh, this is the time where Seth is going to go over and get the big win. Good. Exactly. No, that's not happening, folks. That's not happening, folks. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, Brock's going to win at SummerSlam, and we'll see at Survivor Series against whoever the SmackDown champion is, and then Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Here we go.
Don't forget, he'll probably make an appearance at Sweet Saudi Money 4 as well.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget that. He's got
to make his bank.
Got to make the bank there, too. So, yeah. But so, I hate to tell you, if you think this is leading to good news for Seth Rollins, well, I'm afraid I got some bad news for you, as somebody used to say.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled with it. I think that, there's a nice kind of like synergy to the whole angle in a way that, Seth originally cashed in on Brock, and then they had the match at Mania, and this is Brock getting revenge for Seth kicking him in the nuts like 18 times and curb stomping him to death before he pinned him and all that. And that's fine in a way, but a lot of people are going to point to that they went back to Brock because Brock's a real draw. And if you guys have been paying attention to goddamn ratings and everything, it's like, he really isn't. He really hasn't moved network numbers. He doesn't really move live event numbers all that much when he is there. And it's really not. It's more of a perception thing for WWE because they have him, and they had Brock, and they had Ronda Rousey, which helped them get these billion-dollar TV deals. That's why he's around. He's not a draw in the conventional sense, so stop using it that way. He's there for other reasons, and I freely admit that. But everybody's going to point to Seth's failure as a champion and that nobody wanted to see Seth. And Steve already brought up, there's two problems with that. Number one, they saddled him with like Baron Corbin the whole fucking time. And that dude is ratings death, interest death, everything death. He's horrible. And the only reason...
That's how you really feel, Larry.
The only reason I wanted him to win the title at the last pay-per-view was just because I knew it would do insane numbers for the website and the podcast.
Oh, it would have been great.
But other than that, it would have been horrible. But he's not a good professional wrestler. He's not a good heel. He's not a good talker. He's not a good anything. He's probably a really swell bartender at Fridays. But that's about it. But everybody's going to want to blame... There's people that are going to want to blame Seth Foley on it. And it's not all his fault. Because WWE saddled him with Baron Corbin. And then that whole time, they never took the time to build up anyone else.
Nope. Not one single solitary person has been built up during this whole time, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess, hey, Baron Corbin was kind of built up, I guess. But and how about them spending the last month of Seth's title reign making him second fiddle to Becky Lynch?
Yeah, and then
how about that?
It's just, it didn't work, and it's like, it didn't work because they didn't put the effort into it. There's nobody even sniffing being ready for a main event shot.
Nope. There really isn't.
What are you going to do? Put Joe in there to lose his 9th world title match?
Yeah. Throw Braun Strowman out there again for the 18th time?
Yeah, I mean, it's... Shit, and then the worst part is, like, in theory, Lashley was getting heated up. They could have had him win at Extreme Rules, and a lot of people wanted to see Lesnar and not Lashley. But again, they killed anything they did with him. Nobody is ready because they didn't put the effort and time into it. And then the other thing is, to me, it's, like you said, Steve, we're right back where we started. And honestly, I'm to the point that I'm really sick of Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I've been there for a while, man.
Yeah, it's just a complete booking crutch because, yes, it has created some really cool moments. Like, Edge's first world title win was fucking awesome. RVD cashing in, pre-announced at the ECW One Night Stand pay-per-view. That's great. You know, there's cool things that have happened. But the thing is they have used Money in the Bank and they've become consumed with fucking making moments. Mm-hmm. It's no longer about building somebody up over months or a year or two. It's no longer about the journey. It's about... We're going to give somebody their first world title, and it's going to be a fucking moment whether anybody likes it or not.
The WrestleMania moment. That's right.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem with me. And I just, like, and part of the other thing is, too, is like the matches are pretty good and sometimes great, but I don't think they're nearly as good as they used to be in many ways. And I kind of lose interest in them because I have no faith in the booking, and like this year's match just like totally shit the bed for me in terms of I was really enjoying that match. And then Brock comes out
all of a sudden
cashes in $1 million to walk down and kill Ali and grab a briefcase. The only good thing that came from the whole Money in the Bank thing with Brock was him dancing with that fucker like it was a boombox.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. That is one of the top Brock moments here in recent memory. I think you have to agree. What's Ali been up to since then, by the way?
He actually appeared on SmackDown this week. They've been doing videos for him. But Nakamura was backstage and talking about how he's going to create chaos as the new Intercontinental Champion. And then they panned out and Ali was standing there kind of smiling. He was like, hey, congrats, champ. And just kind of walked away smiling. So I think they're going to tease that possibly for his Nakamura's next feud. Because
that's going to be a kick-ass SummerSlam pre-show match, let me tell you.
I mean, if they make the pre-show, sure.
If they make the pre-show, that's right. It might be part of the. Are they gonna have the access matches on SummerSlam weekend?
Might air it like on the WWN network as a payback for the Evolve show.
On the NXT When Worlds Collide weekend.
But no, I mean, hopefully Ollie starts getting some run again because they took him off for a while and then they started running good video packages for him, and it's just hope they have a plan.
There were a couple of unfamiliar faces that popped up on SmackDown this week. Actually, it seemed like all the people Kevin Owens mentioned in that interview the week before all decided to show up this week.
SmackDown felt like a Vince Russo show. As in,
I thought Bischoff was taking over.
Yeah, but it's like they did a lot of things, but they really did nothing.
Yeah.
Like, tons of segments, tons of people, tons of things appearing to be going on, but nothing much really happened.
Hey, Liv Morgan was there. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Well, it was good for her, and she's going to be gone again for like 6 months.
She comes back, she loses, and she immediately says, I'm going away, and I'm going to come back tougher or whatever. Yeah.
I think she said I'm going to come back realer next time or whatever the hell that means.
Realer? What the hell?
I don't know. I will say, though, I did laugh heartily when she asked Charlotte if there was anything of her that was real. Because let me tell you, man, you look at
we all know the answer to that one.
You look at some 2014 Charlotte pictures and you look at some 2019. Between surgery, Photoshop, and the road owning her, woo!
Woo, indeed.
It's definitely something. But yeah, the Brock thing, not a big fan. And like you said, he's gonna beat Seth. My only hope for SummerSlam is that, Brock likes working with the smaller guys.
Yeah.
He likes work. He liked working with Punk. He liked working with AJ and Finn and all the guys like that. So hopefully that means that we're actually going to get a main event. Like an actual good, 12, 17-minute match or whatever the fuck it is, with Brock actually working and stuff, and, a chance for it to be good.
Yeah, I think they'll have the working shoes on for this one. It's, where are they at? In New York, Los Angeles? Which one are they in this time? No, they're in Toronto. That's right, up north. So they'll have the Bizarro World crowd there, so who knows what they'll think of the whole situation.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to hear Bizarro World uttered like 20 times during the show.
As I try to think who are the big Canadians they get. Well, there's Jinder Mahal. They can always put him over.
We got Natalya on the fucking main card.
Oh, God, yeah.
Which is a great segue, because we're going to talk about the Raw Women's match.
Oh, woof. Indeed.
And this is titled, Looking at Alexa Bliss Crying Over Negative Fan Reaction. And that match, if you guys didn't see Raw, and don't tell me I watched the Hulu version or whatever the fuck you're telling me, they had an elimination match. And the winner was moving on to SummerSlam to face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. This match contained Naomi, Carmella, Natalya, and Alexa Bliss.
And with the exception of Alexa Bliss, who on that list has done a goddamn thing in the last 6 months?
Nobody, which is also part of the whole problem here. Now, if you guys didn't watch it, I will give a quick breakdown of what you can expect if you catch it. It was 1/3 chin locks, 1/3 commercial breaks, and 1/3 dog shit wrestling and bad layout. It went on for 25 minutes. It was bad.
It really was.
So bad. And basically, they kept looking like they didn't know what to do. They kept working chin locks. When you get lost, grab a hold, kid.
Yep.
Well, that's what they did. They were lost for 25 fucking minutes.
You know what? Back in the day when they were in NXT and regularly had 25 minutes, they never. I take that back because none of these girls ever wrestled 25 minutes in NXT. That never happened. But in NXT, when they have those long matches, they also have weeks and weeks and weeks to practice in the Performance Center, right?
Yeah.
That's what they do. Sarah Del Rey gets down with them. They work things out. They figure out what it's going to do. So by the time Takeover rolls around, they know what they're doing. They don't have to grab holds and then sit back and think about what we're doing. And these girls did not have that amount of time to get ready for this. Not sure. I'm not sure if something got left off the show. Maybe they had something planned and it got canceled, so they had to fill time somehow. Because I can't imagine, like on the first draft, this write-up, somebody thinking, "Yeah, this is a great idea. Let's give these 4 girls 25 minutes. That'll work out pretty good."
Do you realize this match got more wrestling time than the entire episode of SmackDown did?
I'm not surprised.
So, but yeah, this match, and people were like, well, you need to understand that there are agents that lay these things out. No fucking shit! Listen, I've been writing about this shit for over 15 years. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Yes, that's what I mean when I said the layout was also fucking poor. Mm-hmm. But then, here's another thing. First of all, I'm all for the women getting more time, getting expanded match time, getting a chance to shine. I think it's fucking awesome. Steve and I have argued this point for years.
Years and years.
But the thing is, bad is bad. And when you have performers, male, female, dog, cat, whatever, that can go out there and work 25 minutes and have a great match, that's great. These women were not those women. Yep. And here's another thing why the crowd lost interest and chanted, "This is awful and boring," and John Cena sucks and let's go Cena and CM Punk and all this shit. Maybe booking a match between 4 women who basically never fucking win, knowing that the winner's going to SummerSlam to face Becky Lynch, was a really shitty idea as well.
Yeah, the one girl that had done something the past 6 months, just the previous night had lost a 1-on-2 handicap match.
So maybe,
she was one of the 2.
Yeah, so maybe we should have put some thought into this. So bad layout, bad match concept, bad pick of who was involved. And all I know is this match aged me about 10 years, Steve. It just kept going.
It wasn't too good. And then of course, later on, once we had the show ends, and once the workers see what people are thinking about, they got to go online. They got to complain about the people complaining.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss, it's disrespectful, and it's fine to have a reaction, but not disrespect us. Well, you know what? You said it's fine to have a reaction. Their reaction was the fucking match was awful.
There you have it. It's equality, man. It's equality. I mean,
what would be more disrespectful? Right? This is awful, or show us your tits. Right? At least they weren't chanting for puppies.
They weren't saying she's a crack whore, anything like that. No.
I mean, they were just voicing an opinion that your match fucking sucked, and the people that put it together should be fucking ashamed. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah, just a bad time all the way around. I mean, and then and out of all this, we're gonna get an Natalia title match at SummerSlam. So
yeah, and that's the worst part. It goes 25 minutes for Natalia to get the pity win so that we can get her wrestling in Toronto.
Yeah. Pass.
Yeah,
pass.
I am not all about that at all, Steve. It's just not good. But I mean, listen, I understand Alexa Bliss getting upset, but listen, I'm glad she has pride in her work, but maybe she should also step back and realize, you know what, if they were chanting "this is awful" and chanting for CM Punk and John Cena and everybody else, maybe we did something wrong.
And it's not like they're crapping over the rest of the show either. It wasn't like one of those crowds that was there just to boo everybody and try to get themselves over.
Yeah, the crowd was into a lot of that show, so don't blame them. So that's and it's a shame. I honestly felt bad for the women, because I'm sure they were trying.
Yeah.
But again,
they're put in a position to fail.
Exactly. That's the problem. And that's Jeremy and I've talked about that a lot lately. It's the reason the takeover specials tend to succeed is because they really tend to put the right people, in the right position and give them that chance to succeed. How often, I can't remember a time on a takeover someone's been put out there and looked out of their depth or just out of place or bad. You know, I mean, I think, like, I can't even think back to, like, the last thing I thought was bad on a takeover.
Yeah, I'd have to stretch and think about that one too. Yeah, it's difficult. There've been some spotty things here and there.
Yeah, but nothing I would call outright bad.
Right. Some matches that weren't quite my cup of tea, but they weren't. I wouldn't say they were bad either.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a shame that, like you said, not put it in a position to succeed, and I do feel bad for them. But at some point, you have to take accountability for. Also, I mean, all we ever hear is Natalya is this great veteran, and she's a great worker.
Wait a minute, who says this?
Oh, God, I hear it all the time, Steve. Because whenever I say it's just Natalya, people get offended. You know what? It's like, here's the thing. If she was that good, she was in the match the whole time. Yep. Maybe she could have called an audible here or there and said, let's not do the 57th chin lock. And let's do something else.
That's something a veteran would think of, right?
Yeah, so I mean,
wouldn't a veteran know how to read the room and kind of figure out, hey, let's try something else here?
See, that's what I thought, but apparently not. And but everybody's gonna go, well, you're not allowed to do that. Yes, actually, it happens a lot. Don't trust me. But yeah,
you'll probably get yelled at or whatever. But hey.
But listen, I mean, if that match is tanking that bad, and she does a couple things to alter it and it gets better, she's not going to get in trouble.
I'm surprised somebody backstage didn't put the kibosh on that thing.
Yeah, you would have thought Vince was backstage going just kill the lights. What was that match that one time he came out with like Rhino and somebody and just like ended the match?
It's Rhino and Tajiri.
Yeah. Where was that?
It's like some house show, I think, or they're just having a bad match. And then, of course, I mean, you want to go old school, go back to 92, that Savage Flair title match in Hershey. When they went out there, it's going to be the title change to Flair. And the first take went so poorly that, Vince ended it. And then they went back out and did it later.
But yeah, I mean, I wish somebody would have ended it, because, I mean, it just made all of them. Well, at least Carmella didn't look that bad because she got out pretty early, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was and glad of it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but that was that. And again, I do feel bad, but like I said, you have to take some accountability at some point and just kind of stop being childish about it. It's just like
not everything's great. Not all your matches are gonna be great. Not all of our columns are the best ever either.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think I do a good job, but I know every once in a while, man, there's a stinker out there, and it's.
I put some stuff out there that just is the shits, and I know it's the shits when I'm posting it, but yeah.
But you do it anyway.
Sometimes. Exactly. Yeah, brother, gotta get paid,
So, all right. So, Steve, speaking of WWE, another thing. Is WWE playing a dangerous game by continually announcing things and not delivering? And what I'm talking about is, like, how many times did they say, Brock's going to cash in and be on Raw tonight, and then he would be there and nothing would happen? And, which, I mean, that's money in the bank, but still, you're saying it ahead of time and trying to get people to tune in.
The best was when Stephanie tried to declare that she's going to force Brock to cash in at a certain point, which kind of defeated the whole fucking purpose of the gimmick anyway.
Exactly. And then you got Tuesday on SmackDown, Daniel Bryan was going to deliver an earth-shattering, career-changing announcement, and he just came out and said nothing and left.
Which made me wonder, do they know what the announcement is?
That was my first thought.
Like, do they know what the hell he's going to announce? Are they going to figure it out at a later date?
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're running the risk of ruining what brand loyalty you have left when you keep doing shit like this.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is though, I mean, it is professional wrestling, and professional wrestling, it's kind of known for the whole card subject to change thing, where they announce a card, they announce something, they announce this, announce that, but hey, things change, stuff happens. And while I'm with you that it's annoying that we get these Brock Lesnar cash-in things, and you would like somebody to make an announcement at a certain time, you'd like them to deliver matches that they announce prior to a show, you'd like to them to. And it's funny because I remember on some DVD sets, like the Ultimate Warrior one in specific, where Vince was all pissed off at the Warrior because he no-showed some dates, and Vince is going on like, "Oh, the number one crime in pro wrestling is to false advertise." And you just have to kind of laugh your ass off because Vince is kind of one of the kings of false advertising. But it's a long-standing wrestling tradition. It's one of those things I don't see going away as long as the fans seem to put up with it. And I think we're at the point in the wrestling fan base where, especially WWE's fan base, where it's going to be tough to scare away a lot of the people they have watching right now. I just feel like the type of people that would be scared away by something like this have already moved on.
That's likely a fair point because there is an argument out there to be made that the audience that is left is the hardcore audience. But it's just more annoying than anything because it's like,
sure,
it's essentially like, hey, guess what, guys? We're going to give you something. And then 3 seconds later, they turn around and it's the middle finger. Fuck you!
Yeah. Hey, Bray Wyatt's going to be here tonight. And then, not this week. Later on.
What do you think about Bray's big re-debut?
He has a mask. He has a mask. He's in better shape, I'll give him that. He's lost some weight, so good for him on that point. But it doesn't feel like anything different to me other than that.
I thought it came off well. I think the mask looks really fucking cool. The problem is he's gonna wrestle soon. And no, and I don't mean that like he's horrible, but it's like, have they made any actual changes?
Or
is he just gonna go out there and wrestle the same fucking match in a mask and do the stupid fucking spider walk and all that shit? I mean, is it just gonna be the same?
Yeah, if it at least is him doing something completely different, which I mean, since the one move he did was his old finishing move, I don't have high hopes for that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. Allegedly facing Finn Balor at SummerSlam.
Well, I mean, they gotta have the rematch from the time when they almost had the Demon versus Sister Abigail. Remember that?
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah. Bray got sick, and I think it was God saying, "We don't need that match."
So
that's probably not a nice thing to say, is it?
No, but it kind of felt that way.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So, Steve, you had we were messaging back and forth, and you had mentioned something about AEW that you wanted to talk about.
Sure. I was watching the video they put out last night. The road to All Out, since that's their next big event coming up, and they've done this for the last couple of shows. They have it over on Cody's YouTube channel, not the Being the Elite channel. I mean, Cody has his own channel. That's where they do these things that are usually more serious, like a more serious building up the shows and whatnot. And one of the first things we had, you remember our good friend Tony Schiavone. He appears. He's doing the All Out Control Center. Remember the Control Center segments back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Where they'd stand in front of the green screen with some elaborate backdrop. It'd be the Control Center where you read off the matches going down. You'd see interviews and whatnot. Good stuff. So Tony Schiavone, I think it's pretty official. He's part of the AEW fold by now. After that, you got good old Jim Ross there doing an interview with Sean Spears. Spears explaining himself, his actions against Cody. At the end of the interview, you have an appearance by Sean Spears' new manager, a man with a history with the Rhodes family, say the least, and with perfect tens as well. Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard making appearance. They didn't get tested, but they got Tully, so that's good. And I just kind of noticed. I was looking. I see Tony Schiavone. I see Jim Ross. I see Tully Blanchard. I see a lot of people from the good old days, the WCW, kind of Jim Crockett Promotions kind of feel. And I'm curious, Larry, what you think about this. Does bring in these older guys, the people that are familiar, people like you and me from back in the day, does it make a difference? Does it make people more likely to watch All Elite Wrestling? We've talked in the past about when WCW went out of business. There were a lot of the old school Southern wrestling fans that just kind of faded away. So is having these guys on this with All Elite Wrestling, is that going to be something that's enough to bring people back?
I don't know if it's going to be like a big needle mover, but I will say that I don't think it's a bad idea. Because Tony Schiavone was really good when he was doing MLW. Jim Ross, I mean, some people can take him or leave him on commentary, but like the interview setting stuff, Jim Ross is really good. Love Tully Blanchard, so I mean, I think that mixing some old school in with this new school promotion, because the one thing they're trying to really get is not only a younger demographic, but they're also, like you said, they're trying to recapture that lapsed fan. And again, like we talked about and you just said, you had a lot of the fans that we just wanted our wrestling promotion. And they went away because there was no wrestling promotion and they weren't WWF fans. They were NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, WCW fans to the end.
They weren't going to watch that New York bullshit.
That's right. So, I mean, I don't see the harm in it. I mean, as long as we're not staffing the whole goddamn thing with like ex-WCW personnel and, we're not running like angles with Kevin Sullivan and the Varsity Club coming back or anything. I mean,
if David Crockett pops up next week, I think he might have some issues.
But I mean, I don't see a problem with using Tony and Jim and bringing in Tully. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I haven't really heard a lot, but like, if Tully can still talk, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he can't. I don't know because I haven't like heard Tully Blanchard cut a promo in years.
Yeah, he didn't do enough here to tell you one way or the other. He just kind of popped up at the end there.
Yeah, but yeah, man, if Tully can talk, I think that's great. I think if you find people like Tony Schiavone that are still interested and want to deliver and contribute, and obviously he wanted to, which is why he was doing MLW. He kind of wanted. I think he wanted to come back and get some of that stank off of his reputation.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and he's talked about it. He fully realizes that near the end of WCW, he was checked out. He hated it. He didn't like being in charge of people. He didn't like having to do all that shit. And he was checked out, and he realizes that it was not good and that he got a bad reputation from it. So I think he wanted to come back and erase some of that, and I thought he did some really nice work in MLW. And I mean, I think if you have somebody that is still talented and wants to give back and do something, and they're motivated to do it, yeah, use them.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think and it's also a nice connection with Turner for Turner Sports. I mean, remember those guys from TBS back in the day. So it's still a Turner Network thing. I'm sure a lot of the people backstage are gone by now, but it's a good connection to the old days of Turner wrestling. And this all seems like, I mean, I could be completely wrong. These all seem like Cody ideas to me. Not so much the other guys like Kenny and Nick and Matt, who I'm not sure any of these guys ever watched WCW or Jim Crockett Promotions or any of that stuff.
No, I think you're right. It feels like a Cody or like a Cody/Dustin idea for sure. Yeah. It's looking to the old school stuff, and again, I think that's. I don't claim like the AEW guys to all be perfect or anything, but I think that that's one great balance that they have between like the Young Bucks, and like the way that they want to do the tag division and stuff, and Kenny how he wants to do like the women, and then you have Cody. They all have like different ways they look at things. They all love it. But Cody will bring that more old school thing, and that will balance out some of the stuff that the Young Bucks and Kenny probably want to do, and that's good.
It'll give Jim Cornette less of an aneurysm.
Yeah, but you need that balance. Well, everything gives Jim Cornette an aneurysm these days, but I mean, it's Jim. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Years of Baconators.
I'm excited. It made me pop. I was excited to see Tony Schiavone on there, and I thought JR did a nice job with the interview. And anytime you see Tully Blanchard, it's a good time. Yeah,
definitely. And I don't think there's any harm in it, especially if you're trying to recapture that the elusive lapsed fan as it was. So, Steve Cook, we got some matches official for SummerSlam, and we got some matches extremely likely for SummerSlam. We already talked about Brock and Seth, and we both think that Brock is going to win and retain the title there.
Yep.
And we talked about the build to it. We got Becky Lynch and Natalya in Toronto, Steve.
I have to imagine that Becky's going to win. I just have to because my mind can't really handle the other option. With all due respect to Natalya and her fans and all the people that still remember Bret Hart from back in the day, I just cannot see the man going out at the hands of the cat.
I cannot fathom this company. Well, here's the thing. I can see them doing it because this company makes some really weird and stupid decisions. But I cannot fathom putting all that time into building Becky Lynch, having her beat Ronda Rousey, and having Natalya beat her.
Yeah, it doesn't compute.
I can't even believe they're giving Natalya the damn match.
I mean, would you be shocked if somebody else entered the match and ended up being like some multi-woman thing? Honestly,
I guess.
I'm not sure who else. I'm not sure who else it would be.
They could shoehorn Alexa Bliss back in there. Jeez,
you can always find a way to put Charlotte in a match, right?
Yeah. God knows we need more Charlotte.
Well, sure, why not? Charlotte's not in the other women's match here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Becky retains. She should retain. But that would just, that would be such a bad idea.
You can get the cheap pop from the local Torontonians, the Canuckians.
I guess.
But then again, would they even support Natalya over the man?
I don't think so.
I think Becky would. Becky seems like their cup of tea up there.
Yeah. And the third match that is official for right now, SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley will defend against Ember Moon, Steve.
Yeah, we saw Tuesday night on SmackDown, Ember Moon needed a partner against Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Fire and Desire.
Damn right.
Like to call them. She needed a partner, not just any partner, not just a friend, but everybody's best friend. Bayley came out and was Ember's partner in the match, and they did well enough there. And now they're going to be facing off at the SummerSlam. You gotta say Ember deserves this. I mean, she's been up there for a while, hadn't been given a lot to do other than get bullied, and she gets a little shine here and there, but not. I think it's about time that she got a chance like this to show what she can do on the main stage, and I think Bayley will be excited about it. All Bayley just wants to do is wrestle. She wants to wrestle everybody. She's excited about being women's champion. She'd like to go out there with anybody and tear the house down. So I think there's some potential for these two to have a pretty solid match. I don't know if they'll go 24 minutes or not, but I think it'll be a little bit better than people might be expecting.
Yeah, I actually like this one a lot. Ember is one of the women who was really a victim of the Ronda Rousey era, and the fact that they were pushing Ronda. There was going to be nobody else above Ronda until it was time to beat her. And so you had really talented people like Ember Moon and Ruby Riott just kind of spinning their wheels.
Yeah.
And doing nothing. And, so that was kind of a shame. And, you saw, people were going to say, well, I don't think Ember's that over. You go back to Evolution last year in that Battle Royal. That crowd wanted her to win so bad. So there's been times where she has been over and had support.
When they give her a chance, she usually does.
Exactly, but that's the thing. You have to give her that chance and that opportunity. And, I think she'll step up here. And like you said, Bayley just wants to wrestle and have good matches. She doesn't care about a bunch of bullshit and stuff, and that's all she wants to do. So I think this will be good. This is kind of like a Shimmer reunion special here. So
there you go.
But, I expect this one to be a good match. Probably one of the better women's matches on pay-per-view in a while, because the last couple months haven't been that good.
No, they haven't. And I do think Bayley and Ember will be properly motivated to go out there and steal it.
Well, especially Ember, man, because she's getting on SummerSlam.
Yep.
And, Christ, she's had trouble getting on Raw and SmackDown at the time. So it's she's going to be fucking amped up. And Bayley will be into it, so yeah. So the next three matches we have here are likely matches that have been all teased already on TV. Looks like we're to get WWE Champion Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton, Steve.
Well, I mean, it's good for Kofi to finally move on to a different challenger. I think we can all kind of agree on that. The Dolph Ziggler stuff got worn out. Samoa Joe came up for his cup of coffee, and that was what that was. I tend to groan when Randy Orton is involved in the WWE title picture because it just happens all the time. And I can't remember the last time that I particularly cared about Randy Orton all that much. But there's a good story here. I mean, they have history going back to the last time they tried to give Kofi that big push, and Randy kind of put the kibosh on that. And they've hinted that in the past. They've had their interactions in between. So there's a lot of history here with these two guys, and there's definitely going to be a lot of people out there. I think Randy Orton might even be considered the favorite in a lot of people's eyes, because when Orton's in these big matches, he typically is the favorite. And I think a lot of folks are waiting for Kofi to lose the title here at some point, and it just might be here at SummerSlam. And Orton's definitely won championships at SummerSlam before, so it's one of those matches I could see going either way. And I think it's another one that could kind of surprise some people and be a pretty darn good wrestling match.
You know, I don't like to sound like a downer, and people get upset with me when I say this, but I find it very, very difficult to care about Randy Orton in 2019.
Oh, I don't disagree with you on that point.
He comes on, I mean, dude gets a great reaction. People still love him. Not going to take that away from him. And promos aren't horrible. But then he gets in the ring, and it's... time kind of stands still, and this is where people complain that you just don't like Randy because he doesn't do moves with a Z, and he doesn't do tope con heroes. It's like, no, it's just like, I'd like the dude to look like he's actually putting some effort in sometimes. Listen, I appreciate a good crisp headlock as much as the next guy.
We all do, don't we?
Yeah, and I like when Randy Orton stomps the shit out of people, and I like when you have the little suplexes on the announce table when he like kills the Singh brothers and stuff. And,
yeah.
You know, there's good stuff. I'm not saying Randy Orton is bad. I'm just saying that he's at a point in his career that I just find it extremely, extremely difficult to care about him and get into his matches. And I really can't remember the last time he had a great wrestling match.
Now, here's a question. We agree that Randy Orton is very popular amongst wrestling fans.
Yeah.
People that love pro wrestling, people love to go out to the matches. They like them from Randy Orton. Has Randy Orton ever drawn in that casual, that not quite as often audience? Has he ever really appealed to that crowd? It doesn't feel like to me that he ever really has. He's very popular with the regular fans, maybe not the smarky smart fans like us, but certainly the fans that watch every single week. I don't think he's connected to that larger fan base, though.
I don't think so, but I mean, again, I don't think WWE really cares about that with him, because he goes out there and he gets the fans love him. He got a big pop, and they like the RKO, and I think that's all they really look at. Plus, it's not like, I don't think they really look into it too much as well, because he's not around much.
No, he's a part-timer these days, which I think helps him, quite honestly, because
it does.
Randy Orton can make his comeback and he can get the big pop because, hey, we haven't seen him in a while. If he's around every week and every segment, we don't like him as much. No,
I think it's great that, again, this is... Steve, we've talked about variations on this for years about cycling talent in and out. Mm-hmm. And it's like they've kind of been doing it on SmackDown. Like, Ali was off TV forever, and then they started doing video packages, and then he appeared backstage this week. Randy Orton was gone since like Saudi Mania 3, and now he's back. So yeah, I mean, no, it's fine. I have no problem with cycling guys in and out. It's just, I don't know, man. Just Randy Orton doesn't really do much for me in terms of entertaining wrestling matches. I don't think his matches are bad. I just find a lot of them kind of bland.
Yeah, they're very, very samey.
That, and I'm all for storytelling, but he's not like really telling me or taking me on a journey, you know?
The reason I question his popularity with the casual fan base is I was wondering, considering the SmackDown moving over to Fox, would Randy Orton be the kind of guy that Fox executives might be like, hey, we want that guy on top of the show?
Well, I can't speak for Fox executives. It's possible. Who knows? Yeah. And if somebody's paying you $1 billion, they may make the change.
What has Eric Bischoff said about Randy Orton on his award-winning podcast?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a horrible Eric Bischoff hater that doesn't take into account his side of the story.
Well, it is. Well, somebody has to, by God.
No, I just watched his entire WCW run and then the horrible TNA run, so I think I know what I'm talking about. But
Well,
what do
speaking
you
of
do?
people in the middle of horrible runs, we got Shane McMahon next match.
That's right. Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens are on a collision course. Kevin Owens is he's the big anti-hero right now. He's stunning Shane McMahon left and right, whether Shane McMahon wants to take it properly or not.
Yeah. Good Lord.
He definitely inherited that from Vince. I mean,
I got to
Jesus.
tell you, but I think part of that's got to be, I think Owens got to snug it up a little bit, you know? He's going to have to grab these guys a little bit harder, even if frickin' Ziggler already slipped out of it, too.
I don't know, man. Something's going wonky there, though, in a bad
Well,
way.
Shane's kind of wonky in general. I'll give you that. It's been a bad time, and we talked about Owens' odd booking on the last podcast, where they brought him back as the lovable family man babyface there for about 2 weeks. I think it lasted about 2 weeks before he turned heel on Kofi Kingston, and got his title shot and did some random stuff with Sami Zayn afterwards, and now he's back to being the anti-hero that we're supposed to like. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Kevin's. I like his work, and I've always appreciated him for going back to Ring of Honor days. But it's still been kind of sketchy here lately.
It has been. I'll tell you what has been annoying, though, is just like, the people getting so upset about him, like, being the big baby face now. Because he's doing the stunner, and then, like, he posted, like, on Twitter after SmackDown, he's like, stunned Shane McMahon twice and escaped the building running away from 17 dudes. And people are like, Stone Cold didn't run away. Like, Stone Cold wouldn't have tweeted about running away. It's like, well, there wasn't fucking Twitter in 1997, asshole.
Could you imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin in character on Twitter back then?
Oh, that would have been great. But it's just like, what do you want, though? It's like, you wanted Kevin Owens to be used better. You don't like Shane McMahon. You want Kevin Owens to get over big. You want the crowd popping for him. He got over on Shane McMahon. The crowd popped big for him. He's hitting stunners on people, and he ran away. So he didn't get his ass beat like a geek.
Yeah.
Nice
change of pace there, actually.
Is he supposed to stand there after he stuns him and goes, all right, guys, go ahead and kick my ass, please?
I think that's what some people would like, apparently.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. And people were, the other thing was like, everybody complained that Ziggler wasn't getting a main event push, and then he got one, and everybody turned on him. No,
hey, man,
no.
Who was complaining about that?
People, if you would have been listening and reading and paying attention, people like myself have been asking for Dolph Ziggler to go away for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Go away, get refreshed, and then come back. But unfortunately, he came back as the same fucking guy.
Yep.
Doing the same match and the same moves, and he got boring again really fast.
Nothing different at all except for continually yelling about how it should have been me.
Oh, jeez.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that's different.
The thing
Which,
with
I mean,
him, too,
and I will say that I was asking for Ziggler to go away, and I could have lived without the game refresh and coming back.
Yeah, honestly, especially after this. But, like, and the thing, too, is like, you listen to him, and people always like, oh, he's just in character on Twitter. No, it's like, I really believe this motherfucker believes what he's saying sometimes. Like, I'm the best in the company, and I steal the show every night. And I'm like, you stole money out of the fans' pockets by doing the same bullshit you've been doing forever.
Ernie Ladd would say, you're stealing money.
And then they're going to go back and try to recreate the last time he was interesting and feud him with The Miz.
Poor Miz. Who'd he piss off?
I know. Somebody get that poor boy a back brace.
That poor guy got jobbed out to Shane McMahon time and time again. Now he's been reduced to feuding with Dolph Ziggler again.
Oh, yeah. And where are all the people that when I complained about the Miz Shane McMahon feud and booking that told me, don't worry, Larry, it's going to be okay. Miz is going to get his win back and go over on Shane in the end. No. He's looked like a fucking geek since Mania.
It's a shame that every time The Miz becomes a babyface, they have to make him a damn geek.
It is. I feel bad for him, but you know what? He's probably happy making a shit ton of money, and he always wanted to be in WWE, and he has a TV show with his wife, and if dude's happy, that's great. I just think it's shit booking.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean, yeah, we're not feeling bad for him on a personal level. Any man that's married to Maurice, I cannot feel bad for on a personal level. It's just I feel bad for me watching the
Yeah.
show.
So hopefully that doesn't get added to SummerSlam. I don't need to see that again because
SummerSlam pre-show, man.
hey, we already have the cruiserweight title match on there and probably
That's
the
right.
tag
Who's,
matches.
who's
So
Gulak the rest of this month?
that's right. Oni Lorcan, book it, brother.
There we go. All right, I'm down with that.
Give me Biff Busick and Drew Gulak again, man.
Sure.
Another Evolve special.
Now is Biff also in the catch point? I kind of lost track of who all
I
was
don't think he
involved
was
in
in
that.
catch point, but it was definitely Evolve, you know. So, but speaking of that smooth segue in Evolve, Steve Cook,
Yeah.
did you have a chance to finally catch some of the Evolve 131 special on the world famous WWE Network?
I did. I caught the Evolve special, the 10th anniversary special this morning, and I think it's only appropriate we take a look over it because I was looking at 411 I was looking for like notes and results and things like that. So I clicked on the recap and I scrolled down to the comments. I saw people wondering like where were the different reviews on the show, which I mean kind of fell through the cracks because there's a lot of stuff to write about over the weekend. So I think it's good for those folks. So we're going to take a look at the show via podcast right now.
That's right. We started off with Josh Briggs defeating Anthony Green with the M6. What did you think of Mr. Briggs here?
Mr. Briggs looked like they mentioned he had been going through some kind of, and he's come back from some kind of injury, I think, right?
He dislocated his hip in a match with AR Fox.
Because he had some kind of tape on his leg, and then he had some weird ass shoulder tape going too. I don't know what that was. That some kind of injury as well?
Yeah, he's had that for like ever. That's just like a shoulder
Okay.
brace thing at this point.
I gotta tell you, that's the thing I was thinking about Briggs because they mentioned his football history. They mentioned, and you can see how big the guy is. He's got the hair, he's got the look. You could see where the WWE officials might see something in him. But then again, he's got all these injuries already. So unfortunately, I don't know if the future is going to be now for this. Is basically a Futures Now showcase match here. And I thought this is some well worked stuff. I thought Brandy Lauren did some good stuff at ringside, getting some heat there. Anthony Green looked pretty good. And Briggs seems to be the guy that they're going to be building around from what we saw later in the show as well. So pretty good stuff here. Good way to get the show kicked off, putting over the guy that you're putting a lot into.
Yeah, I like Josh Briggs a lot. He got slowed down a little with that hip injury. He was really building some good momentum in Evolve at that time and having a lot of really good matches. And but yeah, hopefully everything is going to be okay and kind of back on track for him now. I thought this was a good opener. Next up was Stephen Wolf defeating Kurt Stallion, Harlem Bravado, and Sean Maluta. Wolf hit a 450 on Harlem Bravado to score the pin. I thought this was pretty good. Didn't like it quite as much as the opener, but I thought it was pretty good, and I thought everybody got a sufficient amount of time to get some shine in here.
It was a four-way scramble match, pretty much. Spot, 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 which is fine, especially in early in one of these shows. I kept thinking the guy's name was Steppenwolf, so I was a little confused there. I was also going to ask you, we see Harlem Bravado there. Whatever happened to Lancelot Bravado?
Lancelot, I think, is in like state government in North Carolina now.
Oh, okay, so he got himself a real job.
Yeah, he has a shoot job now.
Okay, so Harlem has to provide for Grandma on his own.
That's right. The
Okay.
sweaters don't buy himself, Steve.
They were telling the story how I guess Stephen Wolf here had been at a tryout a couple months ago, and that's where the Evolve officials took notice of him. I guess he hadn't been around too much prior to this, so good way to get the guy on the map.
Yeah, and so again, yeah, good stuff, and yeah, like, I didn't like it. Like I said, didn't like it quite as much as the opener, but I thought it was a good little scramble match. And again, it's like Steve said, early in the card, kind of keep things moving. I think things picked up really well here in the next match with those Arturo Ruas defeating Anthony Henry. Ruas is the former Adrian Jowand when they changed his name in NXT. And he's the Brazilian dude. He's about 36, 37. Does a bunch of jiu-jitsu, capoeira, and stuff like that. Had a good match with Matt Riddle on last night's NXT. They worked a very MMA simulated style match, which was cool. And he defeated Anthony Henry here, who is one of the more upper name guys in Evolve right now, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it looked like they were pushing Henry from the video they had prior to the match. And I haven't seen a whole lot of Anthony Henry, but I gotta tell you, to me, he kind of looked like a second-rate Sterling James Keenan in the look.
I can see that, yeah.
Sterling James looked like CM Punk, and Anthony Henry looks like Sterling James Keenan. So we're kind of going down there. But this is an interesting match to me. I don't think I liked it as much as a lot of people did. I did like the change of pace and the style there. This is stylistically a lot different from what we saw in the first two matches. I don't know how much. Does Ruas have some MMA experience back in his past?
I'm sorry, what?
Does Ruas there have some MMA experience?
He has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background and stuff.
Okay, because it looked like he had some experience in that.
Yeah, he might have done like some amateur MMA or something, but I mean, his match with Matt Riddle on NXT was really cool because it was like a simulated MMA fight.
Yeah,
but
it looked
he
like
definitely
Henry's a
works
little bit.
that style.
It looked like Henry's a little bit in over his head on that particular exchange there.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good win for Ruas. You said he's 36, 37, so I guess there's not a lot of time for him to get going. But then again, maybe there is.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the only thing with him is like there is potential, honestly, but you got to do something with him soon. It's kind of the Shayna Baszler problem.
Yeah, where she's already 38, 39?
She's like between 37 39. She's up there, but I mean, and again too, it's like I'm not trying to like downgrade anything with Shayna Baszler, but there is also a lot of mileage on her with her MMA run and everything. So it's like, if you're going to do something, you kind of got to do it soon.
Now, I noticed that the next match here had a couple of ladies who don't have a ton of years on them. I think they said both these girls were 22. I think it's what Lane Leonard said.
Something like that. Yeah, they're young.
Brandi Lauren and Shotzi Blackheart in their disqualification match. And Larry, I'll tell you the first thing I really liked about this match. You remember last time we were talking is about one of those no holds barred matches with Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, Shane, and Drew, and we both noted how we were wondering why did they wait till towards the end of the match to have Elias come out? If it's gonna be no holds barred or no DQ or whatever, why not bring out your guy right away and try to just go for it from Jump Street? And sure enough, here Brandi Lauren was smart enough to have I don't even know what the girl's name was on the Russian girl. Do you know her name?
I think it's Natalia Markova.
Yeah, something. Yeah, that sounds right. She just had brought her out right away and had her go against Shotzi. Just like, hey, you won their disqualification. Here you go. So I like that. And these two definitely went all out. Shotzi did this crazy dive into a whole row of chairs, which is kind of ridiculous, but in a good way. She got busted open early in the match as well. I think one of those shots the Russian was throwing hit her pretty hard. So yeah, definitely a lot of heart there from Shotzi. I've been impressed with her for a little while, and I thought she had a good showing here. And I did not know much about Brandi Lauren, but for what I saw here, I like that as well. So two girls here with a lot of potential in my eyes.
Yeah, ROH and Impact both used Brandi Lauren under different names, and I think she was actually signed to Impact at one point, and then just they didn't use her and let her go. And Shotzi's done a lot of Rise and Shimmer, and she had a match or two with Impact, but they didn't bring her in. So they've gotten looks, and Brandi Lauren's done some enhancement work for NXT. So they've definitely gotten looks, but yeah, a lot of potential with both of them, like you said. I thought it was good. I thought they made good use of the stipulation, and it was surprisingly hard-hitting in a lot of ways for a women's match, which you don't always get.
Yeah, they're going all out. It's good stuff.
Yeah, some brutal kendo stick shots down the stretch there. So, and like you said too, I also liked it. Brandi Lauren just brings out her heater and she's like, "Kill this chick for me," It's like, we're not waiting.
That's right.
So, and again,
good psychology.
That's the way to do it, though. Don't fuck around with it. Don't tease it. But good match. Like I said, good use of the stipulation. Good work by both. A lot of effort by Shotzi Blackheart, taking a lot of punishment. So yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, good deal there. I like that Shotzi. She's good.
Yeah. Next up was NXT's Babatunde defeating Colby Corino. First of all, isn't it crazy how young Colby looks like young Steve Corino?
Pretty much.
Like
Pretty
in the
much.
ECW arena too.
Yeah, in the ECW arena. Now, yeah, it pretty much looked like Steve Corino out there getting his ass whipped by this big old Babatunde guy. And that's what it was. It was a flat-out ass whooping.
Yes, it was a big old squash to set up Eddie Kingston running down Babatunde for getting opportunity the wrong way, and that he and Joe Gacy and the Unwanted had all gotten their chances the right way and worked hard, and after they'd been ignored and all that shit. So, unfortunately, Eddie Kingston didn't go crazy and shoot on the WWE Network, which I think everybody wanted.
Oh, wasn't it so crazy seeing Eddie Kingston cutting promos on the WWE Network? I was so happy to see that.
Yeah,
if anybody deserves it, yeah, that guy.
Definitely. It is wild to seeing, like, freaking just Eddie Kingston on the WWE Network, but that was very cool. So that led to our tag team title match, which was the Unwanted of Eddie Kingston and Joe Gacy as champions, losing to AR Fox and Leon Ruff for the Evolve Tag Team Championships. Leon Ruff is one of AR Fox's students, Steve, and part of a group called the Skulk, which are just AR Fox's students that like to come to the ring and dance around, and they got extremely over in Evolve really fast. And then they started getting matches and were really good.
Yeah, I mean, you would expect that from AR Fox, and I know he Fox also. I know from the wrestler show they trained the Austin Theory guy from later, who appears later in the show. So obviously, the guy knows what he's doing when it comes to training these guys. Not that I've seen any of these other Skulk guys in other places. I'm sure they'll be popping up here and there as time goes forward. And interesting to see Kingston and Gacy together as a tag team. I don't know if it's a similar train regimen they have, possibly. Is that where they got their connection there?
They're unwanted, Steve. That's all you need to know.
They're unwanted. Yeah, that's a fair point. But this is relaxed rules, so they got to pretty much use anything that wasn't nailed down. Pretty much what happened there, going all over the place, going through tables and stuff. Good times.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I thought it was really good. The finish saw AR Fox with the 450 splash to Kingston, and Leon Ruff put Gacy through a table on the floor. I thought it was really good. Definitely needed tag title change, especially the Fox and Ruff, who are over. And they're a really good tag team.
Yeah, and it's only a matter of time before Kingston gets kicked out anyway. Let's be honest.
So next up, Steve Cook, is what I think was the match of the evening.
Yes,
we had
agreed.
Matt Riddle defeating the good Reverend Drew Gulak, who is in 100% Reverend Drew Gulak catch point form with the robe and everything, the flowing robe. It was awesome. They just had an absolutely great match. These guys worked a lot together in Evolve. They were part of the catch point stable, and just Drew Gulak, you could see, was thrilled to be back working an Evolve show.
Yeah,
because he was just able to do his thing. Matt Riddle was thrilled to be there.
Just a good time. A good reunion. We saw these guys go ahead in NXT not too long ago, and is some more good stuff, as you would expect when these two guys get together. And the story of it seems to be, and I don't know if they'll keep it going once they both wind up because Riddle's going to be up there at some point. But if that's to be the story going forward, that whatever happens, Drew Gulak cannot beat this man. Is that what the build's going to be? Like, whatever happens, Drew Gulak cannot beat him, and then finally, eventually, someday down the road, he finally beats him?
I mean, that's what it feels like. But, this was a really great. It was exactly the kind of style you would expect between submission and hard-hitting stuff. And Gulak was going for the Gulak at the end, but Matt Riddle countered into the Bro Derek for the win.
Yeah. I'm big on Gulak. Gulak's having a heck of a year.
Yeah, no,
he really is.
Drew is great. I love Drew a lot. He's so good. Matt Riddle is awesome. And
Riddle's gonna make it big as long as he kind of stays out of his own way. And I think what I'm saying by that, because he kind of has a tendency of taking his big unshoe covered foot and kind of sticking in his mouth from time to time.
Well, yeah, but how many people in wrestling history can we say that about?
A lot. And usually they have shoes on there, so it's a little bit different.
That's true. But it's like it's kind of funny you talk about people that get themselves in trouble. It's like I don't know what kind of like voodoo he's weaving, but like Court Bauer in MLW is like the asshole whisperer. He brought in Low Key and he's made it work. He brought in Teddy Hart, he's made it work. He brought in LA Park, he's made it work. He brought back Austin Aries and he's making it work. It's like,
yeah, there's one exception.
What's that?
Sammy Callahan.
Well, no, that wasn't. He made Sammy work. It's just Sammy left because of Impact.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, it's just like Court Bauer is like serving some good Kool-Aid or something down there in MLW, man.
Well, Teddy Hart's still there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
So
crazy stuff.
But
I guess it's kind of, unfortunately, I think it's to the point for Court Bauer where that's kind of what he has to do because, I mean, AEW's taking people up. WWE's still signing everybody. So they're kind of left with what's left. The unwanted, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so, but yeah. Anyway, Riddle Gulak, absolutely great match. I thought it was the best match on the show.
I agree with you. I would go with that, and I put the ladies second myself, my opinion.
Fair enough. Next up was Evolve champion Austin Theory versus WWN champion JD Drake. This was the winner takes all match for both titles. And I thought they had a really great match. I've been very hot and cold on Austin Theory during his run. Obviously, great look, a lot of potential. But at times, he really felt like one of the early 2000s WWE Randy Orton clone creator wrestlers. And he felt really, really bland. And then every once in a while, he'd like pop up and have like a great match. And then he'd kind of go back and he'd have some good matches. And then like he was just kind of there. And then he'd have a great match. And then he'd go back and do it again. But he got some progress bookings. He worked some CMLL. He's been working more. He's been growing. He's been getting a lot better. A lot more confident, which has also helped. And really starting to put things together here. Definitely somebody I can see WWE signing soon. But he defeated JD Drake, who is not a sculpted 2000s WWE creator wrestler.
He does not look like somebody that they would be particularly interested in, but you never know.
Yeah, JD Drake is the blue collar badass, and he is not he's not normal WWE cosmetically pleasing wrestler. You know, he's JD Drake is a dude that looks like you would go out and watch football and drink beers with, and if you got into a fight, he'd be a great friend to have with you. He'd beat the shit out of somebody. You might
put him in heavy machinery with Otis and Tucker.
There you go.
That might be where you fit in with those kind of guys. But
the thing is, say whatever you will about Drake's physique and whatnot, JD Drake is a really great wrestler. Been doing it for a long time. He's had a ton of great matches here in Evolve. Had another one here putting over Austin Theory. And Austin Theory is, many of us saw it coming a long time ago. He's what Evolve is building around right now. But Steve Cook, his path has a roadblock in it.
It does, because right after the match ended, which I thought was perfectly solid. I didn't think it didn't really hit that upper echelon, that crazy kind of indie style for me. I mean, it was fine. It was fine. It wasn't great, I would say.
What did you think of Austin Theory's stunner cell?
I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty solid. Theory, I've not seen as much of him as you have. I did see him on that wrestler show, and he comes off like the kind of guy there that could be a big thing in this business when he stays. He's getting there. They're making the right move, I think, putting the title on him and trying to build around him. But like you said, after the match, he's doing his little promo. He stomps on the WWN title belt like he's Shane Douglas back in 1994. So I guess they had that going for them. Then the lights go out. You know, anytime the lights go out in the ECW arena, there's bad times ahead. I was hoping for Sabu. I was hoping it was going to be Sabu. It was not Sabu. It was Josh Briggs, of all people. And Josh Briggs acts like he's 911 while we're making his references. Gives him a big choke slam. And, I don't think the people quite popped for this like they were hoping.
No.
It got a reaction. A little bit of a reaction. I mean, there was a little Josh Briggs chant. He kind of got a polite applause, but I don't think it didn't get I'm sure they're hoping for a big pop, especially when you turn the lights down, you bring out a guy that way, you expect that to go over huge. and quite frankly, it did not.
It kind of felt like the Adam Page attack on Jericho at the AEW show, when like Jericho just runs him down and shits all over him, and then Adam Page finally comes out to get some revenge, and it's like, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was disappointed for Briggs because I was like that fucking sucks. I'm like,
yeah, it wasn't that star-making moment that they were probably hoping for when they booked this. And then they kicked it right into a Josh Briggs build-up video too.
I know.
Which maybe should have ran that earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed a little oddly out of place. So, anyway, the main event of the show was Adam Cole, baby, defeating Akira Tozawa to retain the NXT Championship. Your thoughts?
To me, it didn't quite feel like it got to that next level. You know, so maybe I have a high expectation because when I see these NXT Championship matches on these takeovers and these type of events, we're seeing like balls out, 15 stars kind of wrestling, people kicking out 15,000 things, just everybody going nuts. Like those last Cole and Gargano matches, just everybody going nuts. And I don't think these guys quite did that on this particular evening. I'm sure they were happy to be there, happy to be back with Evolve for one night only, but I don't think we quite got the kind of effort that we were hoping for.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like an NXT takeover level world title match. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I thought both guys worked hard, but yeah, it wasn't. It never got crazy, and I think that that's fine because I think that Riddle and Gulak was really great. And I don't think that they wanted too many things to overshadow Austin Theory's win.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
I think it made sense. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair assessment. It wasn't like, I wasn't completely wowed by it. I just thought it was like a really good professional wrestling match between two guys that I think are really good. And
yeah, it was good, but not like a match of the year candidate or anything like that. But we're accustomed to seeing that slots. And also, I do think the fact that I don't think anybody in the world thought the NXT title was changing hands on this evening.
Yeah, and that's also kind of a problem. Like you can tell everybody enjoyed the match, but weren't exactly into the Akira Tozawa near falls, and that's just
nobody's buying on that.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Travis Banks was wrestling Walter for the NXT UK title at Download Fest. It's like, no disrespect to the Download Fest fans, like they were into the show and everything, but nobody there thought they were seeing an NXT UK title change at Download Fest.
No, wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen here either. We did get an appearance from Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Takeover, Johnny Gargano. He got to come down and got to do the big post-match promo as well.
Yeah.
Which I know that back in the day, back when Evolve started, it was all about the show closing Johnny Gargano championship promos.
Yeah, so that was
you kind of have to go back to that.
Yeah, that was a nice little way to close the show, and I thought Evolve 131 was a really, really great show. I think you could easily argue that it was the best show of the weekend over the AEW and Extreme Rules show. I wouldn't argue anybody over that. I thought it was a really strong effort. I thought it looked really good on the network, and there's an argument to be made that. There's already the loose affiliation. There's an argument to be made that if I'm WWE, you might pump a little money into Evolve and, actually, buy into it.
Well, I don't know how much... we know Triple H is all about it. And we know William Regal's there on a pretty regular basis. I don't know if they're already doing that sort of thing. They had some pyro, man.
Yeah. But,
And we forgot to mention Paul Heyman. Well, I guess, Paul Heyman was there.
Yeah, well, he did the ring announcing for the title versus title match. Which
the Philadelphia fans liked it,
Yeah. But, if I'm WWE, they're already sending NXT talent there to work.
Yep.
They travel around. You have a ton of talent in NXT who don't make TV, who are stuck on the Florida loop. Let them go and work. If you take it... See, the thing is I don't think they're going to send a ton of people. They're going to send certain talent.
Maybe a certain number at a time, yeah.
Yeah, but, if you're actually, in control of it and bought into it, then you can sit there and you can send people different places, get them that working experience. Because, I think it did a world of good for the Street Profits.
Yeah, I was going to say that they got their Evolve run. They got the championships there for a little bit, and Then after they did that, they popped back up on NXT, and they're right in the title picture. And now they're on main TV, just kind of hanging out and catering.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, I really enjoyed the Evolve show. I think if you guys have some time, I would definitely make some time to check it out. If you haven't watched a lot of Evolve before, give you a little taste of what it's like. You'll see some new names. And I think that that is the one thing Evolve, like Gabe said, and like when people were asking him why he, because there was always the loose working relationship, and then they kind of made it more official with NXT stars being able to actually appear on their pay-per-views. And that is the one thing that's helped their ticket sales, because they can offer something that the other indies can't. They can say, we have, the Velveteen Dream coming in and various guys. Because like the Velveteen Dream did some really good work there too. And I think that again helped him as well.
Yeah, they were mentioning that Red will be on the next evening show, the 132 show against, he fought Kurt Stallion on that, I believe.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. And that's a big opportunity for Kurt Stallion there. But, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's been the speculation of, are they going to have another tier to the network? Have you heard about all that, where they're going to try to up the
rumored
price?
Extra tier, and then there's going to be
that's
extra
been going on
stuff
for a while.
It, like Evolve and
like Evolve, Progress, and things like that. And maybe that'll happen one of these days.
Yep, I'll never see daylight if that happens.
No, you'll just be a non-stop 24-hour loop of reviews, Larry Csonka, which you almost are already.
Yeah. So, but yeah, really enjoyable show again. If you're looking for something different to try out and you have the network, no reason not to give it a look.
Yep, that's about what it's like. I think it's like 2 hours 49 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a breeze. It's a breeze to get through, and I thought it's kind of a good introduction to the product too, because they did have some videos there to explain certain guys. They showed some videos of some of the feuds that are going on, so it wasn't like they're just kind of dropping you in with you having no idea what's going on at all.
Exactly. So
Lenny Leonard did a good job explaining things too, so there's also that.
Yeah. Oh God, Lenny Leonard is awesome.
It's a one-man announce booth. Imagine, right?
Yeah, he is so good. Yeah, he's always done a really good job of bringing people into the product and explaining things and stuff. And that's honestly, he's been one of the strongest parts of the whole promotion. Because you can't, you're asking a lot of people to come in like cold a lot of times.
Yeah.
And he does a great job of just making you feel kind of welcome and like what's going on.
Explain who these guys are and why they're there and their backgrounds and experience level and all that.
So. But Steve Cook, I want to thank you for joining me today, buddy.
Yeah, it was a good time talking up that professional wrestling. There's a lot of it going on, man. It's nonstop.
There is.
Nonstop.
So thank you guys for listening to the 411 on Wrestling podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course the 411mania.com website. Again, thanks to Steve Cook for joining me this week, and have a good weekend, everybody.